right, so welcome back to week 2, session 2 of our group counseling video. You guys did a fantastic job last week, and what I want to do is to continue on with that discussion. We had some discussion about bullying last week, and we're going to continue on with that. But before we do, I have an icebreaker activity where I wanted to see if you guys could identify who the artists were of these particular drawings. What I did was I challenged you all to draw an object or a thing, something that would reveal who you are without actually telling us your name or a self-portrait. So in other words, the challenge was to figure out, according to the drawing, who drew it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up the first one, and if you are the person, don't say anything, but if you are the person that drew this, then what I want you to do is not to reveal yourself, but to stay quiet, and then I want everybody else to kind of, you don't have to raise your hands. Remember that that's not part of it, but what you can do is kind of talk about who you think it could be.
Just say the person.
You can talk about who you think it could be, and you can say it out loud. So go ahead and start talking to the whole group.
It's either
I think it's Winty.
it's either Kevin or Ryan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Ryan.
No, I'm pretty
It's
sure
Winty.
it's Ryan or Kevin.
It's Winty.
What do you think, Saul?
It's either Kevin.
I don't know.
It has to be Kevin.
It's Kevin. Yes.
It's Winty.
Do you all think it's Kevin?
I think it's Ryan.
So
I think it's Winty.
So let's. What we're gonna do is we'll put this aside. We'll say it's either Kevin or Ryan, maybe Winty. Right?
Winty.
Okay. There's this one. This one. It looks like it might be the same thing.
What is that?
Oh yeah,
Harry Potter
that's
and a little
definitely
journal.
Winty. That's
Journal.
definitely
Is that
Winty.
Okay. So well, maybe we'll see.
No, that's definitely Winty.
Could be.
Maybe
Okay.
that's Eden.
Wow, there's a lot of Harry Potter books here. Isn't that interesting? That
Oh, that's
you
really-
guys are obsessed. with
That's
Harry
Kevin. That's
That's
Kevin.
Ryan.
Kevin.
That's definitely Kevin.
Potter. Why do you
No, it's
think that
Ryan.
this is? What is it about this one?
That's
that
Ryan
makes
has
you
a
think?
Half-Blood Prince.
Hang on. What is it
Ryan's
about
on the
this one?
last book.
What is it about this one that makes you think this is definitely Kevin's and not
Because
this one?
I know
that's
Kevin's
the
handwriting,
Half-Blood
and
Prince.
Winty writes small like that, and Ryan writes like that.
Okay. Is there any reason that nobody has guessed Amira on any of these?
Yes, because Amira, she wouldn't really do Harry
creative.
Potter because she's like on the second book right now.
She's creative.
She's on
Yeah,
the
and
third.
she would do something. You are?
She's on
I'm
the third.
on the third.
Oh,
I'm on the fifth. I'm on the second.
So you guys are in different places in the Harry Potter books.
yeah.
But I mean, this
Joanna's on the last.
this right here doesn't tell us which book it is, and this one doesn't, and this one does.
That's Kevin's
So maybe
handwriting.
this has specific
Kevin.
information.
That's Kevin.
Because
But
Eden's on the fifth.
let's keep going. Let's keep going. What about
Kevin,
this one?
Kevin. No, that's Kevin.
That's
Kevin.
Kevin.
Now, wait, this is interesting because you guys originally thought one
No,
of these
that's
was
Saul.
Kevin.
That's Saul. That's Saul. That is
That's
Saul.
Saul. What is Saul?
That
Okay.
is Saul.
I am still on the second book.
Now look at this. We have
That's
yet
Saul.
another Harry Potter.
Oh, that one's
That is
either
Saul.
Winty
That's-
or Mira.
Okay, could be.
No.
That is not
I have lots of
Amira.
them. What do you think it is then that differentiates this? How is this different than this?
Because you know
small.
how
And
the
that was
person who's
messy.
not talking, that's who it is.
Well, it could be, but you've been
Just
talking the
him.
entire time, which means that none of these are yours.
Oh.
I can talk for any of them.
So is it that? I mean, you guys gotta let other people talk too. Okay. So how about this?
Angel.
Could be angels.
No, it's Saul. It's Saul.
Not
It's
me.
Saul.
It could be Saul's or angels. We don't know yet. We
Angels.
don't know. So what is it? Why is it that you guys think that this could be angel?
Because she's so colorful and girly.
Yeah.
That's colorful.
Yeah.
Like the party.
Is there? I mean,
The
but
cloud is
why?
flying.
Why can't this be girly?
Yeah.
That's Kevin.
No, but I
just
play
played
basketball.
basketball tournament today.
Yeah, I play basketball.
Yeah, but Angel plays basketball. This can be
She
girly.
does?
Yes, I do.
She's
Why
just
is it-
trying to mix things
What
up.
about what this? Why can't this be girly?
Because
That could be girly. Yeah. That's like
that's
for any gender.
yeah, that's any.
Any gender. Any gender. Is there a reason? Well, wait a minute.
This is
Why?
Saul's.
Why could this
I
not
just
be any
feel
gender?
like I just feel like that has got to be angels.
But wait, I kind of look at this and I go, well, that could be any gender. I see the pink,
Yeah.
maybe wings or
No.
something.
That doesn't affect me.
But
Yeah.
but this right here
That's
has got all kinds of different colors, and really, there's not really any particular color assigned to a gender.
It's Winty.
We
it's
already had
Saul.
that conversation. Okay, this right here,
It's definitely Saul.
we saw that. Okay, wait.
No, that's Saul's.
This one.
Winty.
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 No.
Mira.
Eden.
Eden. face.
Okay.
Yeah, bruh.
This one.
Yeah, that is definitely Eden.
That's Saul.
That's Saul.
What is it? Okay.
That's, I don't know.
Some people are
That's
saying
not
Saul.
mine.
Is there anybody else?
Wait.
So here's what we're gonna
That's
do.
definitely
Now what I'm gonna do is
Why is it mine?
I'm gonna take these
Why does
and
it feel like
I'm
we have
gonna
more papers?
I'm
than
gonna
people?
pass these to the people that I think that you guys said was the most
That
likely
is
person.
Saul.
No, that's not.
So most people are saying this is
Saul.
okay.
That's definitely.
Is that you, Saul?
Yes.
Okay,
Knew it.
we identified that one. And how many people think of this? What do you guys think of this one?
Rhythm.
You think this rhythm?
Yeah.
Is it really yours?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is.
Angel.
Yay!
And what about this one?
Ryan.
Is it Ryan?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right.
You can tell because
Okay.
the thing on the
What
back.
about this one?
Kevin.
Kevin, was it you? Okay, very good. We get that. Yeah, get a shot of Kevin.
Okay. Which
Hi.
of these? This is hard.
Yeah, what about this one? This is gonna be hard. Yeah. How do we?
Winty.
You think this one's Winty's? Is it yours, Winty? No.
It's a
Winty, that's not yours?
It's a Mira.
This is
Wow.
Winty's.
Yes. Think about
Winty,
that.
Amir, you never
Is that
draw
Winty? Is
that.
it yours, Winty?
Yeah.
I
So this has to be Eden's. Half her blood.
This is definitely Eden's.
Yeah. Half blood. You can
Okay.
tell he always does.
So you guys,
You
guys, put your papers down.
But you don't think
Flip
I
them upside
ever
down.
draw that small?
Flip your paper down. Face down now.
Draw like
Face down. Okay.
that was fun.
Pass your paper to me. Thank you. Now, you guys, in this particular activity, I had you guys draw that because I wanted you to understand that there are some expectations we have of each other, and there are expectations we have of our friends, and sometimes those expectations come true, and sometimes they don't come true, right? Because sometimes we think we know somebody really well,
Yeah.
right? And we were like, oh yeah, I totally got that one. I pegged that one. It totally slam dunk on that, and then it wound up not being. Yeah. So it was a little bit different than we expected, right?
That was Winty's.
I know. I thought
So if that happens amongst friends, right, then try to imagine how that might happen, say, amongst people that we're not as familiar with. Or how it might happen where we think we understand somebody, or we think we kind of put them into our little own box, and they've become that, the way that we understand them, but they're a little bit different than we thought, right? So I wanted to review today, also before we get started on the main activity. We're running out of time, so I want to review quickly what you guys remember as the ground rules. So can we start with rhythm, and we'll go all the way around, and if you guys can remember like just one single ground rule from what we talked about last week, that would be really great. So rhythm, what do you remember?
Respect others.
Okay. Respect other people. Very good.
Being honest.
Don't judge people. Don't give advice. Confidentiality.
Which means,
What happens in the session stays in the session.
okay, and Saul?
We talked about bullying.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
A rule.
But a rule, do you remember the rules of the group itself and how do we talk in the group?
Be on time.
Be on time. Very good. That's an important one. Okay, so now that we sort of locked those down, I'm going to share a little idea with you guys. So this is a little story that actually did happen, and this was a few years back before you guys were students here. Once when I spoke up about too much testing at the site, we were in a staff meeting, one of those incredibly exciting staff meetings. And at the staff meeting, there was a lot of discussion about testing. And at one point, I sensed that there was a lot of teachers that were frustrated by the amount of testing that we were doing. So I stood up and I said, you know, there's a lot more to these students than just them filling in a little bubble on a sheet. There's a lot more to them than them just turning in a test form. They're much more interesting than that, and they have all kinds of interesting things to say and interesting things that are on their minds. At which point, the principal, and when I was done, she waited for me to finish. The principal said, well, that's all fine and nice, and you're lucky that you have a job. That's what she said to me. And essentially it was meant to shut me down. It was basically meant to sort of like, okay, well, that's great that you said that, but you know, you're lucky you have a job. You shouldn't be complaining about anything. At which point I did sit down because there wasn't anybody else that stood up and said anything about that. but it was meant as a put down kind of. It was meant to kind of make it so that she dismissed anything I said. And at that moment in time, I was feeling pretty alone. Even though I was speaking for what I thought was a lot of people, I thought I had stood up and spoken for a lot of people, but nobody stood up and did anything at that moment. Not a single person said, well, hey, you know what, actually, that's true. Or nobody said, well, you know, what he mentioned, that thing about so much testing is right, and you're right, we are lucky to have jobs, but that's sort of not the point here. So nobody did that. Anyways, like after the meeting was all done and stuff, you know, I'm sort of walking away from the meeting and kind of thinking about that comment in my head. And a couple of people came up to me afterwards and patted me on the back and said, you know, I recognize that that what she said to you was kind of hurtful, and I want you to know that that's not the way we felt, and you know, we're sorry that she said that, and you know, you were totally right. You were totally right about that. So that made me feel better. It actually, in the moment, it made me feel better about what I had said and about also kind of where I stood in the whole thing, even though I felt like I'd been shot down, you know, by her comment. So that's my story I wanted to share with you, but I wanted to ask you guys a couple of questions. And the first question I wanted to ask is this.
Can we turn on the lights?
Sure. Let me turn this off. Let's see. So the first question I have is, Kevin, you're not doing that, right?
No,
Hopefully not.
That's my first question, and I want you to think about that. Don't write anything. Don't say anything yet. Think about it for just a moment. And
Good.
thinking of myself for just a moment, if I was the target in that interchange between me and the principal, if I would have been the target, then what would an ally have been able to do? So there's two questions. First, what is an ally? And second, what are some things that an ally could do to support a target? That's a question. So, first of all, what do you guys think about what is an ally? Last week, Amira did a nice job of outlining 4 separate groups. Do you want to remind us what they are?
It's the bully, the target, the ally, and the bystander.
Okay, so let's go through one at a time. The bully is what you said. I actually don't like to use the word bully per se because that sort of almost calls them a name too, and the name calling is sort of a problem. So what I like to say is it's somebody who does bully. That we use the word bully as a verb. In other words, it's a person who bullies. To bully, right. A person who bullies, or we could say it's a perpetrator of bullying. Somebody who perpetrates bullying against another person. So let's not use the word bully, let's just say it's a person who bullies. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So can we break those terms down? What would you say is a person who bullies? What happens? What does that look like? You guys don't need to raise your hands. Remember the last week?
They probably got bullied, so they want another person to feel how they feel, so they know that the other person feels worse than they feel, so they can feel good.
Okay.
It's not their fault.
That's what I said.
It's not their fault. Sometimes they're just taking it out on them. There's nothing mentally wrong with them, but they're just troubled kids who need help, but nobody helps them, so they're just trying to solve it themselves, and a lot of people resort to bullying to push away their feelings.
Yeah. Any other comments?
I think people bully because at home that's what they experience, so they don't know that it's a wrong thing to do, and then they just sort of
get in trouble, but they don't know that they don't know what they got in trouble for, really.
Okay.
So they keep doing it.
Let's talk about the target now. So we mentioned the bully or the person who perpetrates bullying. What about the target? What do you guys know about that? Remember, you don't need to raise your hands. Just say.
The target often bullies the bully because they want the bully to feel what they felt when they got bullied.
Not quite. Not quite.
Well, the target wants the target. Everybody, nobody's perfect. First of all, so the bully is trying to point out their flaws and make them feel bad about themselves. It kind of sometimes it entertains them.
So
Like
who is
the-
the target then?
The person who they're bullying.
Okay, yeah. So, and I want to make sure we clarify this because the target, as we understand it, is actually not somebody who is perpetrating the bullying. And they don't necessarily. They could become a bully, but in the moment when there is an episode that happens, the target is not involved in the bullying as the perpetrator. They're the ones that are. Some people would say they're the victim, but we also don't like to use that term because that means that they have no control. And we want to make sure that the target does have control. So, hold on a second. What's up, Kim?
Well, I was just thinking that I've heard of another type of person in that thing. I've heard it be called a toady. It's where the bully or the person who bullies has a partner
Okay.
or
They're
like-
allies.
Yeah, they're allies.
They become sort of allies,
It's
but
like-
to do bullying.
Yeah.
Actually, it's similar to Harry Potter because Draco Malfoy, he has toadies Crabbe and Goyle who are kind of backing him up.
I see.
But although he is defenseless without them.
Oh yeah.
So we've identified the bullies and the targets. And what about the bystanders and the allies? Can you put that down? What about the bystanders and the allies? And you guys jump in if you haven't had a chance to say something. Give somebody else a chance in case somebody hasn't said something. What about the bystanders? Who are they?
The people who enjoy the bullying.
Okay.
Or they,
Could
In
be.
some cases.
some cases.
In some, not necessarily, but in some cases, yes.
They think it's
The
entertaining.
bystanders are just the people who
Watch
find
and stay
bullying
there.
and they don't
Like
do
it's-
anything about
They
it.
just
Sometimes
find
they're-
it and very entertaining that they just stay there and watch the
some
bully bully the target.
Can you have a bystander who doesn't find it entertaining but
Yes.
just sort of
Yes.
watches?
They're a little bit, they're kind of afraid to
do anything.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like, they might be bullied
They
too.
might
They
get
feel
bullied.
sympathy, but
Maybe.
they don't have
Yeah, from afar.
they
They don't have the
the courage.
The courage.
Yeah,
to go
to
and
step
fight
up.
the
Or the
bully.
bravery.
So let's clarify. It sounds like then you guys are identifying two kinds of bystanders. One is a bystander that has sympathy but can't have the courage or the ability to do something, and the other is a bystander who doesn't and maybe is entertained by it and maybe kind of likes it but doesn't actually get involved in any actual way.
Sometimes they're identified as the bully.
Could be, yeah. So sometimes a bystander could be identified as part of one of the bullies. What about the final group, the allies? Which is this one.
I think the allies.
I think that allies are the people who help out the target.
Yeah.
They defend the target from the bully.
Yeah, sometimes they were the ones. Sometimes they help and support the target, and sometimes they stand up to the bully.
Yeah.
So
The target.
today, you guys did a great job of that. So today, if we've had an ally and we identified an ally, then what are the sorts of things that an ally could do to support a target? You just said that they support the target somehow, but how do they do that? And that's kind of the big question today. What I want you guys to think about is one incident, any one incident in the past where you saw some bullying happen and you watched it, it unfolded, it all sort of like happened right in front of you, and then there was a moment in time where you either afterwards or during the whole thing where you thought, okay, this is my chance to jump in. So what happened in that, and what could have happened to support that target. Like, if you were the ally that was going to support the target, what could you have done? And you don't have to say that you did do it, because honestly, there's been lots of times when I've wanted to go backwards in time and say, oh man, I wish I had done this. How many of you guys have ever had that, where you go, oh man, I wish I had done this? Right, okay. So if we did this and we could talk about going back in time, what would we have done to support that target? What do you guys want to say?
I would have gone up to that person and asked them to stop, and if they didn't stop, I tried to persuade them to be friends with the person they're going, and if that doesn't work, I don't have a choice but to tell on them.
Okay, so ask the bully to stop, is what you're saying.
Yes.
And I'm going to take that one right there, and I'm going to move it just down here. I'm going to move it just down into the corner and keep it there, because what I want to do is I want to try to put these up here on the line, and we're going to try to figure out where they go. Okay, what other ideas do you guys have?
I would like try to stick up for the person and say like they're not a bad person, and why should you pick on them?
So stick up for the person. It sounds a little bit like maybe I'll take this one and I'll make it into a question, which is why.
Okay.
You said that. I like the second thing you said even better. Why do you want to pick on him or her, right? Perfect. That's perfect. I'm going to toss this one, and then we'll keep this one instead. Excuse me, Eden. Okay.
What about
What else?
jumping in and
Jumping
trying
in.
to cool down the fight? You know, try to stop the fight. At least for now, because they might end up being in that situation all over again. But you could at least like relieve the person of their worries just for now.
So, let's break that down a little teeny bit more. When you say cool down, and you say
Like
relieve the
calm.
person, you mean relieve the target of their worries?
Yes.
So, okay, so in the moment, you're saying that we could cool down the target right when it's happening?
Wait, not the target, but like cool down the fight that's going on, or cool down the bully.
Cool down the bully. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so let me back up here. So, cool down the bully. If like the bully is saying something and you want to kind of like maybe cool them down, distract them.
Yeah,
maybe.
to get the target away from the attention.
Oh, okay, so get the attention away.
Break up the
I
fight.
got it. Okay, I got it. I'm going to rephrase this. I'm going to say that we're going to say this is take the attention
Away from the bully.
away from the target.
Oh yeah.
We want to get the bully away from the target, right? From the target. Let me toss that out. No. Okay. I have to do it the hard way. Okay. Take the tension away from the target. Let's see here. I'm going to move this one slightly down here. Any other ideas?
I think if you were a bystander, once you jumped in, you should ask the bully why are they doing that, and they don't need to get attention in that way or power.
Okay, so ask the bully. I like the second thing you said. They don't need to get that attention by that way. So you can remind them. You can remind the bully. You can actually, or the person who perpetrates the bully. You could say, remind. You had really good words there. Remind the person
Perpetrator.
who bullies that they don't need to say that. And you guys, we're running out of time, and I want to honor our time because we already are running a little bit over. So what I'm going to do for next week, and this will help ground this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these ideas, and we may add a couple extra next week. I'm going to take these ideas, and we're gonna put them on a little timeline here in terms of what we feel comfortable with. Like what,
First
like if
step.
this ever happens again, if you ever see anything that looks like bullying again, we're gonna have like a little timeline that shows, here are the different things we can do, where do we put them on the timeline, where do we personally, where do you guys feel comfortable coming in and responding? Which one feels the most comfortable to you? Okay? You guys think you can handle that? All right, you guys did a fantastic job this week. Thank you so much. And that's the end of the video. Thank you very much.